Hi, Bill Jones from Turntastic Wood Designs. Here at the lathe, I use a lot of sandpaper, and I use small pieces. What I've been doing up until now is I just take a sheet of sandpaper and just rip off a little piece with my hand and use it as I needed it. But that wound up turning into a big mess. I had little pieces of sandpaper, little strips all over the place and all over my bench, and it was not working out. So I found a way to organize it. I made this organizer here, very much inspired by a classroom organizer that I made for my daughter. And I hope it will help. I'll let you know over time how much better things are. And I'll show you how I made it next. I started by cutting some 3/4 inch plywood on the table saw to 8.5 inches wide. Then on the chop saw, I cut 3 pieces 32 inches long for the shelves and 2 pieces 7 inches long for the sides. On the table saw, I swapped out my combination blade for one of my dado blades because it has a slightly wider kerf. Then I cut dados in one side of the top and bottom shelves and both sides of the center shelf. To assemble the cabinet, I pre-drilled to keep from splitting the wood and then put it together with screws. I cut some hardboard for a back and tacked it down with a brad nailer. Next, I removed the top shelf so I could mount it to the brackets of my lumber rack, which are just above the lathe. And I reattached the cabinet to the top. Then I cut some hardboard pieces and slid them into the dados that I had made earlier. Now I turned my attention to making a sandpaper cutter. Just a simple piece of plywood, and I laid a hacksaw blade on it. I raised the hacksaw blade up just slightly by using 2 washers and screwed that down to the piece of plywood. And the sandpaper slides under the hacksaw blade, and the teeth on the blade help cut even strips. Then I load the strips up into the cubby holes. I have in mind for new sandpaper to be on the top shelf and used sandpaper to be on the bottom shelf. Well, I hope you liked this video and found it useful. If you did, please like and share with your friends. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It really helps me out. And as always, thanks for watching.